Hello there. So today is Tuesday, 27th of February, and I'm just getting started here. I am about to get started on day 10 of my 100-day project. If you are new here, my name is Betsy, and I am going to be doing this for 100 days. I'm going to be drawing and just trying to play around with color, just trying to figure out what kind of new things I can learn working with color and with ink, maybe color pencils, watercolors, things like that. So that is what my project is all about. And all that I have here is just a couple of drawings that we did over the last few days. And hi, Doobie. Yeah, I'm glad you're here, Doobie. And I'll just be keeping an eye on the chat. So right now it is 5 p.m. and we're just gonna get started in a little bit. Hi, Zen Mama. And I'm just kind of looking at some things that I've made recently, just trying to get some inspiration as I figure out what it is that I want to do. Here's the drawing that I made on Sunday. So I'm looking at a few aspects from that. This drawing from yesterday, from Monday, so that's pretty interesting. I'm liking the colors. It seems like purple's happening a lot here. Hi, Carrie. Hi, I'm glad you're here. Hi, Tash, Robin, Annette. Hello. Hi there. Hi, Donna, Katya. Hello. Yeah, as you guys know, I try to change the times. I do have those times posted so that there's kind of a little bit for everyone to try here. Yeah, so these are the times for the different days of the week, and then just kind of compare with your time. I'm just doing my best to stick to the schedule. It is comforting when there's a lot of stuff kind of going on. It's nice to know that there are times that I'm reserving for this kind of thing. So it's really nice. Yeah, so I'm glad you guys are here. This is going to be fun. I'm just kind of looking at the drawings from the last couple of days and just trying to figure out. Yeah, hi, thank you. I see a couple of you guys are asking how I'm doing. I'm doing well. It's been pretty busy, but I'm keeping up with stuff. I hope you guys are doing well too. Yeah, so I'm glad you guys are doing well. I've got this little drawing here. I was playing around with this little design over here on the left that we did on Sunday. So I was playing around making some more of these kind of little spiraling little shapes here. It was fun. So I did this. I'm probably gonna show the process for this to you guys in a shorts, in the shorts. So I'll be doing that. So it's just something fun that maybe I'll be playing around with sometime this week or next week, and just kind of seeing what we can make out of this. I think today I'm going to try something different for the drawing. So how about I'm just going to start moving over there. So here's day 9. So this is what I have right now for day 10 for today. You can see already that I got started here. Hi, everybody. Yeah, for any of you, of course, just join us as long as you're able to. I do appreciate any time that you spend here. I'm just going to be drawing, and I'll do my best as usual to try to keep an eye on the chat. But yeah, you guys go ahead and chat. This looks like 7 p.m. for Deshi. Oh, you got a headache too. Yeah. Tash, you got caught up on the last 2 days. Yeah, yeah, I do. I love it. Whenever you guys can join, it's awesome. It is amazing. I'm only ever grateful for you guys when you join, and as I'm drawing, kind of trying to figure things out here. I will show you what the inspiration is for today's drawing. So I'll show you this one. This one actually was very popular in my on my Instagram. It's got I lost count already of how much attention this one got. This is from my last 100-day project. I think it was day 94. And this is, I like to call these my portals, where I just kind of start on the outside and head inward until we reach this kind of black spot. I want to make one of these today. So I think that'll be really nice. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do here today. I think I'm just really feeling that whole kind of vanishing off into forever. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, so I hope you guys are okay. I hope that the weather is treating you nice. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of just looking at the chat here. 8 p.m. for some of you. Darth says it's 8 p.m. Yeah, 7 or 8 p.m. So it's a little later for a few of you. Alright, so as I'm kind of looking at this here, I'm just looking at a few designs that I think I want to try today. There, as you can see, each individual design, or pattern if you will, is fairly simple. The key here is to kind of just add another one and kind of keep working inward. So let's do this. I'm going to set this aside right here. Kind of get it somewhere safe. And you can already see I have color here. I did this a few weeks ago. I'll just tell you really quickly because I know these are fairly familiar. I got these a while ago, and for some reason they're still full of ink, even though I use them in all sorts of projects. You've probably seen these in the past. These are by Ranger, the Tim Holtz Distress inks. And all I really did is just took some of these inks. I'm trying to figure out which one I did that gives that green color. I think it's the walnut. Yeah, if you do the walnut stain, it creates kind of this green color if you make it a little damp. Yeah, if you make it a little wet, it gets like this nice green tone. Yeah, and so let's see here. I think, oh, there we go. That's what I'm trying to remember. My brain, I'm like all over the place right now. What a weirdo. What a weirdo I'm being. But yeah, really the key to using these is basically just use a sponge. I got a couple of inexpensive kind of these sort of sponges here. They're makeup sponges. And then I just kind of dab, 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 and then tap, tap, tap. That's pretty much what I did. It must have been like 2 weeks ago when I was prepping the book. I just decided to kind of see how these looked on here, and that's what I got. My goodness. That is what I got. So as I get my thoughts together, how about we get started here? Zoom in just a tiny bit so we're not so far away. 80 degrees in Phoenix, says DB. That's nice. It's just a little cool over here where I'm at. Just slightly cool. Not quite 80, it's a little bit cooler over here. 80 degrees sounds nice though. So what I'm going to do here, I think I'm pretty much just going to get started with a pen. So I think Zen Mama, you're asking about the lines. Oh, these little lines? I actually was like, it was a mistake, so I just went with it. As a mistake, if you're asking about these little gentle kind of lines there, I just tapped the thing itself onto the page. And which one is this? This is the vintage photo. I got these as a little set, and I just kind of tapped it, and it left little lines. So it might have been this one, the antique linen. Yeah, I just ended up like tapping it like that. It leaves these little lines on the edge. It's fun to kind of play around, see what kind of things we can do here. Yep. Just some texture, just kind of help the juices going. Yeah, mistakes are good for everyone, I think. Mistakes are very good. So let's see here. Pretty much the easiest thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my pen right away. I don't think I'll need a pencil for this. And I'm just going to go straight in here. Yep, happy accidents, that's what we call them. Happy accidents, lovely mistakes, or just life, right? Yeah, just creates a little bit of texture in the background. And I think I'm just going to use my pen to go straight in and just start creating these sort of spaces. So you'll see I'm kind of creating just these little areas. So that's my first one on the outside, and I'm just going to slowly keep cutting it down like that. So I'm going to kind of overlap this. Make another one here. Like that. So there's 2 spaces now. I mean, cutting it into 3, but I've created 2 new ones. So that's what I'm doing. And then about here, I'll make another one. I'm trying to see how, maybe I'll overlap right here. Maybe give it a little bit of squiggliness. Like that. So now I made another space. Notice I'm kind of going in a rotation and heading inward. That's pretty much all I'm doing. How about here? Good enough? Good enough. No need worrying about how any of this happens. So yeah, of course, if you want to take a few minutes and kind of do a little bit of stamping on your page or do any kind of watercolor or anything like that, yeah, that's up to you. Ooh, Kathy, 12 degrees. 12. It doesn't even matter if it's Fahrenheit or what. 12 degrees is kind of... hopefully you've got a nice fire going or your heater's going. That is crazy. Minnesota, huh? It's cold over there with you. Just gonna keep overlapping a few of these. I'm almost getting to that point where I think I'm just gonna do the last bit with black. Holy cow. Alan, hello. And I know I haven't mentioned everyone's names, but I think you guys are kind of accustomed to that. I'll skip a few things, unfortunately. But yeah, we're just kind of creating these little spaces overlapping this. The makeup thing I used, yeah, it's a makeup sponge. It's a little sponge. Squish, squish. It's very squishy. It's hard to see it because it looks so bright against the other things. Well, hello. Looks like Natalie just subscribed. Thank you for joining us. So yeah, it's just a makeup sponge. I think I got them at a dollar store or something like that. They came in a couple of packs. Yeah, and they're very soft, and you can see like the ink there. It just transfers really nicely. Yeah, that's what these are. Yeah. I'm hoping you guys, I don't know if you could see, but anytime somebody subscribes during the live stream, we get a little bit of a celebratory little sound there. It just kind of shares a little bit of the excitement. Yeah, so, oh my goodness, let's see here. 75 degrees for Alan. Nice. I don't even know what temperature it is here where I'm at, but it was raining yesterday and it's still a little bit on the cool side. I think that's the last of the segments I want to make. So in case any of you are wondering, I'm using a Kuretake pen. This is the finer in the set. Again, I currently do not have it under the description of the video, but I will update it once we're done. I try not to do it beforehand just because there's so much going on. I end up grabbing 20 different things, so I'll just update afterwards if any of you are curious about what stuff I'm using. And then here I've just got my new pen that I just kind of refill with the ink. I've been playing around with that. And so I'm just going to use it to just fill this inner part with black, because I am making a portal today. I'm making one of my excellent portals that I love so much, which means that this part here for me is simply going to be black. That's what we're doing here. Just going to fill it with ink. And so that's what I'm doing here. It's pretty good here. Janet says hello from Renfrew, Ontario. Nice. Very nice. How's it looking up there for you guys? One of you let me know. I know, I think Ron said you're up there too. How's it looking up there? I've been hearing that, and maybe you don't have this issue, but I've been hearing that way up there north, the permafrost has been melting. If that's the right way of putting it. It's been getting damaged. I don't know how that affects the cities, but I've been watching some stories about that. It's always interesting to know what's happening out there. Yeah, and thank you guys for giving me little hearts. I do see them. When you guys hit the little hearts in the chat, I see them and I love them. It is so nice to know that you guys are responding and you're interacting and letting me know how you're doing here. I like that. It's very, very nice. So I think I'm going to switch back to my pen that I'm drawing here. So Ron, you're in Southern Ontario? Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to start from the outside, and I'm just going to start using some relatively familiar and simple patterns. So here, I'm just going to start with these kind of lines, heading kind of outward, and I'm going to let those lines kind of shift with the angle. Oh my gosh, so many of you are hitting the hearts right now. My chat screen is getting inundated with little hearts. That is so sweet. It's very sweet. It looks really cute. It's like this little heart storm that's happening there. It's very cute. So as you can see, I'm kind of just adding these lines like that. Oh, and then it looks like I got a couple little smiley faces. That's really nice. Yep, so I'm just going to keep adding these lines here. You can see this doesn't take too long. They kind of go in really fast like that. Just like that. And I'm going to continue along the side here. This is my thing I'm doing here. Just like that. Line, line, line. Just letting it kind of follow along. Letting the lines kind of spray out. To follow the curvature of this kind of shape that I'm doing. Let's scoot over a little bit. There we go. Judy said, you had thunderstorm. Okay. In Toronto, Canada. 65 degrees in Maryland. Too warm for February. 65, huh? Yeah, the temperatures are changing. Climate is changing. It's not good, but who knows? We'll see what happens. It's hard to tell sometimes how things are going to go. Whether you believe in it or not, or whether you however it is you feel about all that, it still affects us all. So it's always interesting to see kind of how it's going everywhere. At least here in California, our weather has been pretty interesting. Not quite crazy. I know they try to make it seem like it's insane. I kind of went off the screen a little bit. I'm sorry about that, but you can see my lines just continue to curve like that. I need to try to do my best to stay centered here. There we go. So yeah, as far as temperatures and weather, I feel like it has changed for us here in California just a little, but I don't think it's entirely out of the norm. We do get floods here. We do get thunderstorms here. We do get a lot of earthquakes. It's sometimes I feel like it's nice to remember that some of this stuff does happen anyway. At least for me. But yeah, I guess some of you guys are noticing that it's changing for you as well. Ooh, 7 Celsius. 7C? Wow. Supposed to go back to minus in the double digits. Holy, oh, I cannot imagine. 10 degrees. Wow. Deshi, it's in the 90s for you? Wow. It's interesting just seeing how for everybody. And it's not quite spring yet, but that's how it goes. It's definitely how it goes. You can see that I'm kind of rounding off. I like to round off this area at the top here. Like this right here. I'm sort of rounding it off, adding just a little bit of ink. That is my preference. Of course, if you want to try this, go for it. Or not. It's fine either way. It's fine either way. Yeah, I know that for me here, we've been having a lot of microquakes. They're not aftershocks or anything like that, but over the last month or so, we've been getting a lot of really mild sort of quakes, kind of like in the magnitude 3 or so. Yeah, I clearly remember about 3 or 4 of them over the last month that have happened. So adding that to the weather, of course, are the earthquakes. Good, clean fun in California. That's what we've got here. Yeah, we're in the earthquake zone. It shakes. It gets a little shaky. It did scare me for a minute there. The scary ones are when they just keep going. When it shakes, even if it's smooth. But yeah, if any of you have experienced the earthquakes around here, my goodness. Sometimes it's just kind of for 3 seconds and I can handle that, but sometimes it feels like you're in a boat. And those are scary. When it just starts, you can see the curtains moving and the ceiling fans and everything is just kind of waving back and forth. It's kind of scary. I'm kind of wondering how the rain and all that is affecting the ground, and maybe it's affecting that. Who knows? Maybe it's all connected. All the additional water in the ground is causing some stuff to shift. There we go. Hi there, P and S Truman said, you made it here. Yes, you're here. Indeed. We're just drawing. We're going to make a portal today. We are making a portal today. A nice little bridge to another universe so that we can go somewhere quiet. So we're nice and quiet so we can rest. Just doing lots of little details here. So this is what I've got so far, just these shapes. Really easy, nice lines around that first one. And then I'm going to start kind of working on the one that follows. So that's this one here. Let's see, what kind of things can I add here? Yep, Deshi's saying it sounds nerve-wracking. Yeah, it starts off okay and then it just keeps swaying and swaying. It's a bit intense. I want to put something here that won't interfere with the direction of these lines, so I don't want them to look like they're the same. So let's see here. What can I put here? I know I've got way too many patterns that I can use. How about some of these that almost look like little barnacles? Let's see if I can get them to fit in here okay. Actually, just to make sure that I follow the direction I want, I'm going to start them in the corner. That way they kind of flow this way. I'm going to do that. Shift real quick here. Start in the corner. Hi, thank you for the little hearts, you guys. I like the little hearts. That's really nice. So here's how I'm going to start the little barnacles. So it's like this little black loop. And then it's like little rainbows. I'm just going to add more lines like that. That's how I do that. So I think I just went with 3. I might change it, but generally it's like this loop. Color it black. And then just a handful of additional little curves, little dark rainbows. That's all I'm going to do here. Keep it pretty simple, pretty fun. I'm just going to keep layering them. Just keep adding them there. Like that. I think that's what I'll do. And I think that as I work my way that way, I'll let them kind of fan out and sort of fill this space over here. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think that looks like a good idea. Ron, you lived in Missouri briefly. How was it over there? Of course, the way you say it, before I got deported. PNS. You had an earthquake there. What area are you in? Remind me again. Yeah. A land wave. Yeah, those are scary. Everything just kind of, like I said, it feels like you're on a boat. It is very, very scary. I have heard that there are places that are getting earthquakes now that didn't have them before. Alright, I'm just going to keep adding all my little dark rainbows here. I know that's not what they are, but that's kind of what I'm thinking of right now. Sometimes they kind of look like barnacles, like little critters, just kind of... WV, is that West Virginia, I'm guessing? Yeah. Yeah. Not a lot of earthquakes on that side of the country. Not a lot. It's happening more often. Yeah. Yeah. It's so interesting just thinking about what is it that's affecting it. Is it human activity? Is it just natural? Does it just happen? Did we do it? It's hard to tell sometimes. So I'm going to start rotating like so. Just like that. And I'll slowly start kind of aiming, like turning these guys. I want them to kind of flow that way. That way they start turning that way. Do my best like that. Little dark spot. Just like that. See if I can do an okay job of kind of turning them like that. Oh, Ron, yeah, your situation that you had with your wife. Yeah. I remember you mentioned that before, yeah. It is things having to do with like citizenship and stuff like that are pretty tough, yeah. And then I think was it Tash? Tash, you said something about yeah, the land here. I don't mind the earthquakes. I don't. I mind them when they are enormous. The little ones, I can handle. I still remember that there was a story my mother used to always tell me about when I was a baby. The year that I was born was the 1985 earthquake, and that one was really rough on Mexico. In 1985, there was a huge quake. Buildings came down. I'm pretty sure it was rough here in California as well, but she said she had to save my life because the building was coming down, and she had to hide me somewhere to try to keep things from squishing us. Yeah, she said that was a big moment for the family, is trying to make sure we all survived that earthquake. And then I also think growing up here in California, there was a pretty big one in the 90s that kind of rattled. I can't remember what year that was, though. I just remember seeing on the news. Yeah, those earthquakes are super scary. Super, super scary. I do worry about that for sure. So as you can see, I kind of filled in this edge here. Just kind of going to start filling in this, kind of these little areas here. Just a little bit at a time here. Yeah. They remind you of shellfish. Yeah, yeah. Like they're all just kind of hanging out, all clustered together. Like little clams. Yeah, DB, you remember the 81 earthquake? Yeah. I guess, yeah. It just shakes a lot around here. I feel more safe away from the city if there is going to be an earthquake. Much safer. That's why we're looking a little bit outside of the city for properties. Also, it's cheaper. Can't say no to cheaper. That's always good. In the cities around here, it's not affordable for anyone. Nobody can afford it. So, we're going to look somewhere else like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna, I got just this little space. This should actually fill up pretty quickly as I kind of keep piling these guys on. They're just gonna hang out together, kind of have a little community of little creatures here. And you'll notice that kind of along the edge, when I have these little spaces left, I kind of just fill with black. No need to worry about it being perfect. Just fill with black. It would be good to get away from large buildings, yeah. Yeah. Because it's the buildings, and then the trees also can come out. And any larger trees, because there's a lot of non-native trees in the area. When the earth shakes, some of them come out of the ground. And that's a little scary too. I know I saw that a few times during a few earthquakes. The tree just gives up and falls on houses. Let's see here. How do I want to hold this? I think I'm going to hold it this way just because my hand kind of... Yeah, there's a lot to think about when you decide where it is you want to live for a while. A lot to consider. I did live in Florida for a while, so I experienced that. That was fun. Different climate, different people. Very stormy certain times of the year. Very rainy. It was different. I enjoyed it though. There's a little one. Just gonna fill it in like that real quick. There we go. And then just this little strip that's left here. TV. Maybe move out of California. No, I think for me personally, I would just stay in California just because I'm okay with it. Yeah. I do like the hills. I love being in the hills. Anywhere else for me is too flat. And I don't like living in the desert. Yeah. I know that a lot of people around here kind of end up complaining and they want to leave, and that's fine. Anyone who, obviously, who am I to tell anyone if they should, where they should live? None of my, no problem. I just personally really love the hills. I feel like I'm at home in those rolling hills with the scrubland and just the clouds and everything. I feel like I'm at home. So yeah, that's what it is for me. It feels right, you know? You know when you're where you belong. You always know, yeah. Let's see here. Alright, so I'm finishing this up, and I think I'm just trying to figure out like what I'm going to do for the next one. Since I only have a couple little spaces here left. Just a few more lines. Just a couple. Does she? You get tornadoes and high winds? Katya was saying more money for art supplies. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's all that matters is that we can afford the art supplies. That's what we need. That is, so far what I found is promising, at least. I know that probably some of you are already homeowners or landowners, or you know about the process, but yeah, I'm learning a lot about kind of looking for land and looking for what the process is to build on it and stuff like that. And there is stuff here that's affordable. There are land plots that we found that are, $20,000 or $30,000. We found them. They are available. Let me zoom back out so that we can see this little guy, see what we're doing here. Looking okay so far. And the mortgage payment on something like that is doable. Even 50,000, 100,000, it's still achievable. So the opportunities are there. You can see I'm kind of just adding more black here. In this one, it's especially important for me to kind of keep those really strong delineations there. Okay. So now I'm thinking, who's next? Which is the next one here? I think it's this one. I think this one's next. I want to figure out what I'm going to do there. I'm probably going to look real quick at the other one that I did. California's beautiful, but you worry about sinking in the ocean. Yeah. Yep. I feel sometimes that where did my other drawing go? It just kind of wandered away. There we go. I think there are times when people kind of have feelings about places because of the political inclinations, and I'm trying not to let any of that affect me. I just want to be where my soul will be happy, leaving aside any kind of ideologies about like the government or I don't know, whatever it is that's going on. I just know that this is the hills. The hills are where I will stay. Yeah. You'd like to see outside your bedroom window. Yeah. Yeah, the areas that I'm looking at, I think what I'm going to do is circles, you guys. So in this area here on the bottom left, I'm going to do circles. That's what I'm going for right now. You live in the Estrella Mountains, but still suffer 120 degrees in the summer. Yeah, that is hot. That I can't do. Yeah. Around here it's been also getting pretty hot, even hotter. And that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to get out of the cities. The cities are particularly hot around here. and that gets a bit rough for me. Yeah, but those rural areas that I'm looking at right now are the temperatures are still manageable. Like I said, there's so much to look at. It's the weather, it's the, yeah, all sorts of things. Is there water? Will there be water to drink? See, so I'm just kind of doing circles, and as I kind of reach this edge that's dark, I'm going to try to make those a little smaller. I'll be changing the sizes of my circles. Yeah. The mountains are nice too, for sure. Mountains are very nice. We do have some mountain communities nearby where I'm at. And I have visited, and they're very nice, but they are quite expensive. Quite expensive. Almost unbelievably expensive. They have been developed. They're already filled with houses. Yeah, those of us who can't afford that don't get to go live in the mountains. At least not these here. Yeah, being in the mountains might sound nice. Donna, you live in Illinois and you have 4 seasons in 48 hours. That sounds about right. Yeah. You get to experience a little bit of everything, huh? It's like the weather has ADHD, it just can't make up its mind. Yeah, that happens. Make sure you have your jacket with you at all times. So along this edge, I'm going to try not to make the circles too small. I almost started doing that, but there's a reason why I don't let those get too small right here. I don't want them to kind of disappear. I'm trying to maintain that layering. Okay. And let me do this area up here. I'm trying to make sure I'm still drawing, because sometimes I start chatting and then I get too distracted, and lo and behold. Carrie is asking, the traffic is terrible. If you're asking me about the traffic, yeah, it can be pretty bad sometimes. We pretty much, all of Southern California is this enormous metropolitan zone. I think it's one of the biggest metropolitan zones. And those of us who grew up around here we're just used to it. The worst traffic is pretty much just heading to Los Angeles. I forget sometimes that this kind of zone connecting Los Angeles and San Bernardino County and all that, we're bigger than some countries. Way bigger than some countries. But yeah, for us, traffic is a daily, just a part of life. We're always on the freeway. But it's fine. It's just how things go. I have chosen to never commute to work like that. That's why I've never really had to deal with it too much. I always try to just work somewhere local. Don't want to drive more than 20 minutes. So Janet says that in Zentangle, this is called tipple. Okay, so when you do little circles, it's called tipple. Circle, circle. I'm trying to make a list of all of the tangles that I use. Just to make sure that I create like a little library so that I can reference. I will start shading at a certain point as well, because the whole point to this is to do lots of shading to make it nice and interesting. Very nice like that. Let's see. I'm going to start working on that next one here. Yeah, Donna's saying it was in the 70s and 24 at night. Oh my gosh. That is a big swing in the temperatures. What kind of design can I put in here? What do I have? How about I just do some dashes. I'm going to turn this around so that I can do this. So I'm going to work in here. Like that. And okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to kind of keep them organized. So I'm not going to draw anything particular. I'm just going to make these dashes like that. And thankfully I have a brush pen, which is going to help me do that. So I'm going to try to be careful here. Like that. So thick to thin. Hitting inward from that outer edge. And I'm trying to kind of follow the curve of this thing here. Hi, work in progress. Hello. Hi there. No such thing as late. Maybe. But yeah, thank you for hanging out. Just doodling and drawing. Making dashes. Dash, dash, dash. On this kind of greenish background that I created here. Using my lovely brush pen. Getting some practice. Ugh, these aren't going to be as nice because they're shorter strokes, but such is life. There we go. Good, I'm just kind of trying to make sure that that look of it being kind of dark right there is happening. Doing my best. Trying to make things happen. There we go. Okay, let's see how it looks. Okay, I like that. So that's handful. I'm going to see, what can I do? What can I do? What are the fun things? So I think the next one as I'm going around is probably this one here. I think that's who it is. I'm going to do a little bit of this kind of like a... I don't even know what to call it. I did it here. I did it here. On my original one here. I'm thinking of doing this there. This little guy here. We're just going to color in little squares. That's what I'm going to add in there. I think that'll be fun in a small space. Yep. Okay, so let's see here. Work in progress as you make everything look easy. Some things are easy, some things are not. We just gotta try it. Judy, what kind of brush pen? Again, this one's the Kuretake. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. I am so sorry. Fude Gokuchi? Gokuchi? Yeah, these come in like a little set, but I think you should be able to get them on their own. I think they do come on their own. But yeah, this is the fine point pen. Fude Gokuchi. It's pretty good stuff. So what I want to do is I use my pencil very lightly, relatively lightly. And I'm going to create first lines in like one direction, like the band, and then I'm going to create lines in another direction. It's kind of small, but hopefully we'll be able to see the little squares. We'll see things happen. Things will happen here. Yeah. Okay, so I hope the light isn't too bright. Sometimes my light is a little out of control here. So there we go. Just a little closer. Just kind of got this random grid going here, and I'll just start filling inside. Make little squares. Little squares. They're gonna be super tiny. I'll probably mess it up at some point. Probably. It's okay though. We mentioned earlier the happy mistakes, right? Wonderful mistakes. Oh, Carrie said, an awesome teacher. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Do be effortless. Oh, there's effort. Oh, you don't even know. There is definitely effort happening. I feel like I'm kind of getting carried away with these boxes here. I'm just going to merge these two. Yeah, believe me, there is effort. I get an A for effort. I show up and I do stuff. It might not be good stuff, but I do it. I do the stuff. For sure. So there we go. Lots of little boxes. Lots of little boxes hanging out. Yeah, and then Ron, of course. Years of practice. You gotta practice. That's how things start getting a little easier. Practicing. Trying things out even when I'm uncomfortable with it. Drawing even when I don't feel like it. That kind of thing. Always a good idea. Katya says it looks intricate. It's as everything piles up, like as everything adds and adds and adds, there's a lot going on, yeah. And of course, you can try your own patterns, any patterns you're familiar with. Go ahead and put those in there. But you see, I just made a grid, a simple grid, and now inside I'm just adding these little, just putting these little guys in here, like creating little windows into the grid that is the universe, so that our little portal can open up. And you'll also might notice I'm staying away from the edge. I'm trying not to let them touch this edge, but I am letting them touch that edge over here. That's kind of the difference. Which edge touches? Which one doesn't? That's just me though. It's just because I already know where I want the shading to happen. And I'm trying to go a little fast slightly just because I know I can do this forever. I don't want to be here for 3 hours this time. Not this time. Although I am open to maybe having like a marathon kind of thing. Just seeing how long it takes to finish a drawing. But I'm pretty sure you guys would leave after an hour. Might not be so fun. Okay, I'm going to lean this down now that more of the ink is there. I just know that pencil can be a little bit shiny. Oh, DB says everything you do always looks perfect and replanned. Wow. Yeah, it's always interesting to me how kind of what I do seems to other people. Yeah. I think that the planning all happens in my head, kind of. It happens in my head. But yeah, I suppose there is some planning. There's some planning. It's not entirely out of the blue. I think about it, and then I just do my best to make it happen. Yeah, pretty much. That's how it goes. You want to try the portal, go for it. It's so good. We're not even done here. When we do the shading in a little bit, you're gonna see it come to life. Always the shading brings it to life. Yep. Joanne says you believe it's called cross-hatching. Cross-hatching is when you do shading. When you're shading something and you make lines this way. And then you do lines in another direction. That's cross-hatching. Because hatching is when you just go one way like that. That's hatching. Hatching, cross-hatching, and then I don't know if there's a name, but sometimes you add more like that. You can add more directions and kind of shade better. Yeah, hatching, cross-hatching, for sure. There are definitely words for things. You could watch me draw for hours. We may do that one day, but it won't be during maybe for the day 100. How about that? For day 100 of this ridiculous project that I'm doing, we'll do just like a big marathon, and we'll see how many people stick around to see me finish like a 3 or 4 hour thing. Maybe I'll do that. I'll go nuts. Make you guys suffer. See how many people can put up with it for more than an hour. Okay, so there's only a couple of these left, and I'm going to start reverting to some of the shapes I've already used. I'm going to start reusing this one in a bit. I'm trying to figure out what can I... You know what? That's right. We got some simple ones, like just some simple kind of curves. So I'm going to start with this one right here. I'm just going to do a simple. I think that's what I'm going to do. Janet, you still have difficulty with shading. Oh, you overdo it, huh? Is there such a thing as overdoing it? I want to think about that. Is there such a thing as too much shading? Maybe it's just your personal preference. You would like to not do so much shading. Yeah. But I go crazy with the pencils and the stuff. I had lots of shading. And generally it looks good with a lot of shading. In my opinion, of course. Personally, I think it looks good with lots of shading. So I'm just doing nice, simple, flowy lines right here. I forget that that's something I can do. Flowy lines. Just doing a little layer of those. It looks time consuming but calming. Yeah, it's this design or this kind of idea is... You could always do it with just one design, actually. If you just have one you want to play around with, maybe one or two, you could do it. You don't have to actually switch between the different patterns. You could just use one or two. I did a quick tutorial at the time where we did this but with just one pattern. And it looked nice too. You can do it with flowers too. Just something nice that kind of appeals to you. So there's that one, and then we've got two more left, and I said I wanted to do some more of these kind of lines like that. So I'm going to do that. DV, you overdo it. Always too dark and doesn't look natural. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, I guess it's just a personal preference probably. Just the way you want things to look. You want them to be softer probably. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do these lines. Let me make sure it's in view there. So they're going to kind of fan outward here, like so. Fan, 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 like that. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let them kind of follow that curve, like that. And then here as well. I'm going to do this one just very slightly different. Similar but different. Or as they say, same but different. So there are the lines. So that's a good start. And then around this outer edge, I'm going to add more line. So just a little one like that. Little one, just a little baby line. Like that. Just so it's slightly different than the other one. A little baby dash. And I think we're making good progress because it is 53 minutes in and it's almost done with the line work here. Pretty much you'll just spend a few minutes kind of doing some shading here, seeing what happens. This will be nice. I am surprised I'm able to get these done. I used to sit here for like 4 hours just to do something like this. So I feel like I'm kind of developing more of a good stride. I've got one space left. What do I do with it? What do I do with it? I think... Okay, I know what I want to do. I'm going to do these little, very little things. Where it's just one curve, two curves, like that. But the inside's dark. So it's kind of like this one, but just the beginning part. So just much simpler, and then that'll be done. That'll be it. So again, I do apologize if I miss some of your comments. It's just I got my head pointed at the paper down here. So I might not see a few comments. But I'm looking real quick just in case. Drawing us into the portal. Yes. Well, we're gonna fall into that portal in a second here. When we do the shading is gonna make it absolutely, truly, truly a portal. Exactly like that. It's almost like all these little shapes are pointing in there. They're kind of guiding us through all the way to the middle there. So 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Start filling in this spot here. 1 and 2. Silly little shapes here. Just kind of filling it up. It doesn't have to be too delicate or too perfect. Just kind of throw them in there. 1 and 2. They look cute. Little sentinels, and they're all kind of standing there saying, that way, that way. It's just my own silly thing. Sometimes I tell myself little stories about the things that I draw. Some people might think it's silly. That's how it is. Just a little bit of simple storytelling. All my little friends here. There we go. It's pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good. The 1 curve, 2 curve is difficult. Is it now? Huh. I imagine like I'm just drawing lots and lots of little, what should I call them? Like little loops. I believe in the past I've referenced them as like the little loops when you crochet and you leave those little loops out. Sometimes I think of them as tiny little, tiny bridges. Little baby bridges. It may just be drawing the curve kind of gets you. And they are very tiny. Very, very tiny. Yeah, you could always try a different pattern. Maybe one that you really like. You could put another one in there instead. Yeah. 1 curve, 2 curves. They're super tiny. Just the littlest of things. There we go. Carrie, you're just hanging out. You did some art earlier. Yeah. Yep, yep. There's a lot of fun people who join us in the chat here. I do like reading through what you guys are talking about. It cracks me up. Okay, so it looks like I'm kind of getting to the edge here. Almost done. Yeah, hearing other people tell their stories and thoughts, yeah. Everyone's got something different to add. Little loops, little loops. Ooh, I get excited at this point because I'm thinking, oh, it's almost time to use the pencil. Almost time. Do some shading. Wonderful, wonderful shading. I think that's still why I prefer doing it this way with ink. With a pencil is just because growing up, that's all I had. That's all I had was a pen and a pencil. It was comforting to just grab that and start drawing and doodling and just playing along. It's still that way. Just a pen and a pencil. Ah, there we go. Okay, the silly shapes are in. I'm going to bring this up again just to make sure things are visible. I think it looks pretty good already. It's a good start. The shading, though, is most definitely going to bring this to life. I believe. That's what the shading does. It kind of brings everything together. So yeah, how about I grab my favorite pencil here? I think that'll be good. Grab my pencil. I'm trying to figure out which one I want. Karen said it looks like heads in a theater. You're right. Yeah, like they're all just kind of looking. They're watching. They're saying, "What's over there? Hey, what's over there?" Yeah. Tamara, you've gotten a little better at your shading. Yeah, it is. You got to find that kind of sweet spot for you. What is it that you enjoy in your drawings? It isn't even necessarily about, you know, you making your stuff look like somebody else's work, but what do you like? How much shading do you like? I'm looking for that pencil and it is evading capture. Where are you, silly guy? I'm looking specifically for that pencil that I like to use a lot. Here you are. The General's Layout number 555. I do have a handful of these, so they kind of sprout legs sometimes and wander off. But yeah, what look is it that you want? What is it that does it for you? So for me, it's probably going to look a little shiny sometimes just because of the graphite I'm using right now. So the place where I shade is around out here. Always the outside. I lay my pencil down like so and try to just lay it down like this. A little messy, it's okay. And I want the bigger blending stump. That's what I'm using here. Let's see. Let's see if the blending is okay here. It's not too bad. Okay, I like it. I'm enjoying it. So I'm just using a blending stump, kind of getting that in there. I'm gonna lay this down. Hopefully it's not too shiny. It's pretty shiny. Very shiny. Unfortunately. Let's see. Looking into the portal. Yeah, I think someone was just asking if you guys draw along. Yeah, that's a good question. At least from the past, my feeling is that some people draw along, a few people just watch and hang out. Some people do it part way and then kind of add their own flair. That's nice too. So there we go. Pencil along the edge. Blendy blend. I might have to erase a little bit since I'm kind of going outside the lines like a bad person. Going out of the lines. I think somebody asked something about the washi tape. Let me see if I can catch the comment. Silly pencil. Never evade. Washi tape, is it there for a reason? I think, oh, there you go. It's Patty who was asking. This washi tape, it is here because this book is one that I did not want to sell because I used the wrong glue on the backing. And so it just doesn't look pretty there. The binding is held together like it's strong because it's stitched. But the glue didn't hold the way I wanted it to. Yeah, it's my own way of making the book usable. I didn't want to throw it away, so I kept it and I am putting it to use. Yeah, that's the reason why it's there. And washi tape's cute, so indeed. Multiple reasons, I guess. So I hope if you are trying this out, this is where I'm doing the shading, is along those edges there. I love doing this part. This is so good. It's my favorite. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. I see all the little hearts kind of floating on my screen there. Yeah, a couple of you guys are saying you're working along, kind of trying some of these things out. Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely try. Yeah, I know. You're reminding me I do have the matte pencils, but they're like on the other side, and this is the one that's within reach. I know, bad habits, right? Bad habits. Yeah, I have the matte pencils, but they are not within reach, and I don't feel like running over there to get them. Yeah, I'm not complaining about this pencil. It's just, I know on the screen you guys can see that it's shiny. I still love regular pencils too. You probably think I'm crazy. Yeah, you're like, dang woman. Why'd you buy the other pencils? Yeah, I use those too. I use them. It's just the angle of the lamp. The angle of the lamp. So how about over here? I know it's already kind of dark, but I think it's still going to benefit from adding this shading here. I think it will still benefit. Yeah, I still have plenty of my regular pencils, so I do want to put them to use. Don't want to forget about them. Kind of going along just to this edge, only this edge. Just like that. Maybe blend it a little for classiness, make it look nice and classy. So it blends a little better. Yeah, I'm sure everybody's got their own kind of like perfect vision of what the shading would look like. Everyone's going to be a little different. Yeah, Tamara, you're just practicing, yeah. Karen, you have some of those matte pencils? Yeah. Although I do remember the last time that I used them with you guys in our live, those matte pencils weren't necessarily matte. They still seemed a little shiny to me. So that's kind of why I'm not terribly concerned. They still provided some shine. From what I could tell. They're still good pencils though. Still good pencils. Still a little shiny. So there we go. That's where I'm putting mine. I'm just, oh, we're so close, aren't we? We're so close. Work in progress says can't find the mandalas app. Huh. Which one is it that I use? I think it might be for iPad. I'm not sure though. Yeah. Maybe it's only for iPad. I just know it's the one that I use on mine. I can show it to you briefly in a second, if you're still wondering about that one. So close. I hope you guys are falling into this portal here. It's so deep. It's going to take you to another universe. It's a nice one though. It's filled with art supplies and coffee and tea and snacks. It is the snacks and art universe that this leads to. That's where this goes. So don't worry about it. You'll be fine. And you're welcome to enter this little universe whenever you want. Whenever you need to. Feel free. It's always open. You can enter and you can play with the art supplies and paint stuff, and draw murals, and write poems on the walls. Anytime you want. That's what this little universe is. Yep. Karen said some charcoal pencil in brown or gold. Yeah, the brown would have fit really nicely with the green, huh? I'm gonna see if I can adjust my light so it's not such a punk here with that kind of shine and bright. So yeah, this is what we've got. Here's our little portal, our portal to the universe of art. This is where it goes. This is our little portal. Yep. Yep, this will be wonderful. So I think that I'm just about done. I know I could add highlights to this. I know I could add some highlights, but I think I want to leave it. I want to leave it be. I think it's good like that. It is a little darker than it seems on the screen. It's just I'm trying not to wash it out with this lamp. It's being a silly lamp, of course. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. I think I'm happy with the result. It does have this green hue, which we did with a a few other supplies, or I did it beforehand. But yeah, that's what we've got here. Pretty good with it. Alan said it reminds you of some old woodcut prints. Yeah, you know, you guys, I've been interested. I know a few people have mentioned. Some people have mentioned the what are they called? Is it lino cut, something like that? That you kind of carve it and then you can do prints like that. That sounds really interesting. I've just been afraid to try something like that. Yeah. Some shading. It'd be so cool to kind of try some interesting stuff out. If I really wanted to, I could like add little hues of other colors. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like if this were a drawing that we spent more time on, I would probably do something like this, like add little bits of like this. Just little bits of purple here and there. Just for fun. Just a little bit. Or you guys do watercolor, so you might kind of get some colors and just kind of add little pops like that. Almost like these surfaces are a little stained, just like that. Something fun. That would be nice. I mean, literally, I'm doing it right now because I can't help myself. We're in the art universe. Just to kind of bring it to life a little. So yeah, I think that's going to be it. This was fun. I really, really wanted to make a little portal today. So there we go. Here's our portal to the art universe. Yeah, of course. Yeah, so I'll stick around for a few seconds in case anybody has any more questions or any other comments. Thank you so much for joining today. This was a lot of fun, lots of good fun. We'll be playing again tomorrow, seeing what we can create. Yeah, Patty's saying some people do amazing carve. Yeah. Yeah, no, thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here today. This was a lot of fun. This was good. All my chatty people. Yeah, I hope you give this a try. Try out little parts of this, just a little bit at a time if it feels intimidating. Just a little bit. Yeah. Kitty Loves 8265 Glover is asking if I have an Etsy store. So I know a lot of you already know I don't have an Etsy store, but I do have a Gumroad account. And I do have that linked in the description of the video. So this is the website where I do post some of my coloring pages. I post some of my books and other things in about a week. I'm thinking about a week away. I'll be posting a lot of journals. I will be posting some journals. I will be posting prints, and I will be posting a couple of other things just to see what you guys think of those. You know, just lots of fun stuff. And yeah, on there, you can always take a look what I've got now. It's not a lot. I know it takes some time, but I think Anne was asking what time tomorrow. Tomorrow, the schedule is the same time as today. Yep, tomorrow 5 o'clock. Yeah, a little bit later just in case you guys go to work. Yep. That's going to be it for today. I do appreciate every single one of you. This is so much fun having all of you here. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Make sure you get some rest. Give your loved ones some hugs. And cyber hugs, of course. I will see you all tomorrow so we can play again and make some nice little drawings. Bye. Good night, everyone. Thank you.